Everyone stretch, have a nice time.
Ready to go.
Hello everybody, Happy New Year, and welcome to the first Spacemen From Pluto podcast of 2021.
Woo! We made it!
Yeah, we did it!
Survived!
Yeah.
And so did you. You all survived 2020. Well done.
I am your host today, Kristian, and joining me as usual is...
Ben.
Dan.
And James.
Oh, lovely stuff, lovely stuff. Well, to welcome in the new year, we've decided that following on from our previous week roundup of 2020, we're going to have a look at the most anticipated films of 2021 and sort of discuss why we're excited for them, what we're excited for, you know, that sort of stuff. Just a nice preview of the upcoming year. But first, I'll ask the question on the tip of everyone's tongues. What's everyone been watching? Who wants to start?
God host.
Oh, I'm okay. I watched a film in preparation for our 2020 roundup, and then looked it up and realised that it came out in 2019. I was like, oh, damn it. But yeah, I wanted to talk about it, so I'll talk about it now. I watched The Colour Out of Space.
Oh, what?
You watched The Colour Out of Space, man.
No.
Why are you so angry about that?
Because I want to watch it. I
wanna
Just pure jealousy.
Yeah.
Well, it's on Prime.
Jealousy.
It's on Prime.
I know, I had all the time in the world to see it, just haven't.
Yeah. So the basic premise is it's an H.P. Lovecraft-based story about a small family living on a rural farm, and then one day a meteorite crashes and starts to alter the world around them and sort of alter the family themselves. So it's another sort of it's a slowish burn horror. I can't call it fully slow burn because Nick Cage is in it, and there's nothing slow burn about Nick Cage.
Yeah.
I heard H.P. Lovecraft. I saw that it was a very colourful and vibrant film, and then I saw Nick Cage, and I was like, cool, I'm in. Fully involved in this. It has some great like Nick Cage rage moments, as people are always like used to. He just freaks out, swears for no reason, just goes off on rampages, and he's actually perfect for the role of someone who is being slowly driven insane by an unseen force. I was really enjoying it for like the most part. Tommy Chong is also in it, which I didn't expect. He turns up as a bit part role as he turns up as himself, basically a stony hippie who lives on the farmland with them. Yeah, it's a very bizarre film. A lot of great sort of practical effects, very The Thing like.
Oh, cool.
There's a lot of cool practical effects. It's a very colourful film, like, because as the world is altered around them, it's altered to the colour out of space, which you could tell it's an H.P. Lovecraft story, because at one point they ask them to describe the colour of the meteorite as it crashed, and Nick Cage goes, I don't know, it's like a colour I've never seen before. And it's like, okay, yeah, that's so H.P. Lovecraft. It's like, oh, it's so indescribable. I couldn't possibly describe it to you. That's how every one of his stories is written.
It's like the laziest writing going. It's like, can't be bothered describing it. It's like, it's undescribable.
Yeah, it's, whenever he describes something, he's like, oh, it's like, imagine the biggest thing you've ever seen, and then it's even bigger than that. That's how big it was. It's like a really nice film to look at, like, because it just changes everything to this sort of magenta colour, so it's like a very vibrant film and gets more vibrant as it progresses. The only down point I will say is it sort of loses it in the last 20 minutes. I know James said it with The Invisible Man. It's one of them films where it's like a nice slow burn mystery, and then the last 20 minutes, it's not bad, it's very over the top and bizarre, and it just sort of hits. It goes from sort of a film at 100 miles an hour to a film at 8,000 miles, and everything just happens all at once. And I was like, this is
Sounds
it's
great.
it's put a dampener on what was like a slow, interesting story. Overall, I really enjoyed it. I definitely recommend people watch it because
Yes.
it was just nice H.P. Lovecraft adaptation with some mental Nick Cage moments.
Sounds good, to be honest. Might check that out.
Who would like to go next?
I mean, I can go, but I'm in that same position that I found myself in previous weeks, where it's like, what I've been watching, not a lot, but I've been playing something.
Yeah.
I've finally got round to playing the the Avengers game that came out earlier this year. I bought it late, £30 on Black Friday sales. I really enjoyed the main storyline, and then I've just got round to playing all the Kate Bishop Hawkeye DLC, the added character they brought out, her little campaign. It's pretty good. I like her as a character. She's a nice addition. I think she's better than some of the original characters because the Hulk is unplayable on that. He's just crap and such a disappointment.
I have to agree.
I like the game. I don't think it deserves as much of the hate as it's received, but it's just fine. Like, I feel like I'm kind of playing it to pass the time. The Kate Bishop was a nice addition. She's different enough from the other ones. My big query now is when they introduce Hawkeye, how are they going to make him different enough from her to make him worth playing? But yeah, we'll see. It's alright.
I didn't realise Hawkeye wasn't in it.
No, so you only get to play.
They haven't added Hawkeye yet.
Yeah.
It was weird seeing all the marketing for that game when it was first coming out, because they really closely mimicked the films with the marketing, and the character designs are quite similar to the films as well. But then they've all got different faces and voice actors, and it's a little bit confused. I don't know. I skipped that one. I wasn't.
Yeah,
really
I was in no hurry to buy it, but I'm glad I did. But I'm also glad I only spent £30 on it. Like, I'm glad I didn't pay full price.
Is the voice acting for Kate Bishop good? Because like one of the things I really liked a lot of the voice acting in that game, and I love Nolan North as a voice actor. I think he's great. I didn't think he suited Iron Man at all.
I would have swapped him and Bruce Banner. I think that would have worked a lot better.
The issue with the Avengers game is that it came so hot on the heels of the Spider-Man game, and people were expecting another Spider-Man game, and it is nothing like that.
No. I think part of the reason that Avengers struggled is that we've been spoilt by Spider-Man and the Arkham games. But yeah, what's everyone else been watching?
I've continued on. I mentioned it, I think, in the previous show. I've been continuing on with Small Axe, the mini-series from Steve McQueen about various people, black people in the 70s, in various aspects of British culture and British life, and how the trials they deal with. I just watched an episode set following a young lad in school, and the mistreatment he receives. He's about 10, and he can't read, and the principal of the school, who I think is Harry Potter's dad. I think that's the actor of Harry Potter's dad, which I think that made me laugh because I recognise him because he's in Chernobyl as well. They send him to this special school, and I think if he wasn't black, they wouldn't have sent him. I think it's also a bit of that as well. And it's not a special school. It's just like the school where they dump kids who are a bit difficult to teach. And the kid we're following, he's a smart lad, really intelligent lad. He just can't read.
Yeah.
And he gets good grades. He just can't read. But the school didn't bother to teach him to read. Maybe probably because he's black. And then you're following this kid and the help he's getting from other people to try and get him back into school, because
cool.
this system that these kids have been put in the school, it sets them up for failure because they're not going to be taught anything, and their career can't go anywhere. And this young lad's really intelligent. It was really good, and I'm halfway through an episode following he's like early 20s. He's been put in prison. He's been arrested, and then we find out who he is, why he got arrested. I haven't got to it yet, but I think it's getting to a protest that he's going to get arrested for, maybe wrongly, that puts him in prison. I think the episodes are pseudo-based on real life than others. The John Boyega one, it's a real guy based on real events. I don't know too much about the ones I've just watched, but they really are really good. they have messages, and this is like reality, but they're not like harrowing to watch. I didn't find them harrowing. Like there's one episode where it's just following a young girl. She sneaks out for the night, and she goes in a house party, and it's like they're all black people in this house party, and they're just dancing to reggae dub music. That's kind of it. But there's a scene in that though where, because there's a bouncer at the house party because there needs to be one, because outside in the street there's a group of white lads who definitely are like looking for a fight, you know, and so there's some people in the house party that even they're dickheads, and so it's a really interesting show. I really like the idea of these different aspects of life in the 70s and the trials they face for just being black.
Yeah.
There's nothing wrong with these people. It's really good, really well directed by Steve McQueen. He did 12 Years a Slave and stuff, so worth the watch.
Oh, that sounds really cool.
Yeah.
All right, Dan, what have you been watching?
Well, especially as you know, this podcast is released on the 1st of January. Probably for the last couple of weeks, I've been watching you guys on my on my screen.
Sorry.
At this point in time, we'll have some. Hopefully, you'll have enjoyed the latest Time of Saw Trashes that have come out. So I'll have been slaving away at that. But the stuff that I kind of put on in the background while I'm editing, so it's kind of related to that, and it's sort of ambient videos that I'm kind of quite into. And I've discovered a few channels that they're all really high quality 4K videos. There's one that I really like, where it's just a train journey in Norway through the snowy kind of landscapes of Norway. And it's just like 2 hours long. It's a channel called Rail Cowgirl. It's incredibly boring.
I knew someone was going to say it. I knew someone was going to say
That's
it.
very inappropriate.
That's just occurred to me. Yeah, that's a strange name. But anyway, that's the title of the YouTube channel. But yeah, it's all like 4K views. It's meant to be put on in the background, but it's quite chilled and pretty zen. And there's one that's like even more zen, where it's a channel called Rambalak, which you may have heard of. Thousands of videos, literally, of just this guy. He's got this incredibly high quality 4K camera and some weird Steadicam rig, and he just walks around towns in Japan. He walks around the cities, he walks around the countryside, he walks around, you know, anywhere and everywhere with this camera. And it's just like a really interesting, weird kind of slice of what it's like to exist in those cities. There's nothing really happens in them. He's just walking around, but you just kind of walking through this city yourself, kind of thing. There's no commentary or anything. It's just him, and you can hear the sights and the sounds and stuff, and it's very atmospheric and very relaxing.
It's just a nice thing to have on in the background.
Yeah. So that's probably what I'll be watching. Premiere Pro and some weird guy in Japan walking around.
Cool.
So with that said, I think it's time to move on to our main, where we'll just be having a nice discussion about what we're looking forward to in 2021, the films that we're looking forward to, maybe some TV shows if they've been announced. Who would like to take us away on our 2021 preview and most anticipated?
Mentioning TV, supposedly the new Lord of the Rings TV show's next year, isn't it? The Amazon Prime Lord of the Rings show. Ben, you'll be into that.
I am quite curious.
Yeah.
How close to the... I've heard it'll be in the Second Age, Danny. I don't know though. But I'd be happy with that because it's far removed from the events of the film. They can do their own story and have their own... The characters can have stake because by the time the films have happened... Yeah, by the time the film have happened, the majority of them, unless they're wizards, would have long died anyway. So there is the threat of death in the show.
Yeah,
so
quite curious about it.
were the films set in the Third Age? It was the Third Age of Middle Earth.
Because I think the destruction, the death of Sauron and Isildur taking the ring is the start of the Third Age. I think I've put that on recording now, so I hope I've got that right. I think Isildur taking the ring is the start of the Third Age. I think.
Yeah, when they said, Amazon are going to do a Lord of the Rings TV show, I was like, they're not going to do a Lord of the Rings show as in, like, just remake the films, are they? Yeah, and then when they were like, oh, no, it's set in the Second Age, I was like, oh, okay. Okay, yeah, I'm down for that. I'm interested to see what happens beforehand. Then again, it could end up being like the Star Wars prequels.
Yeah, it does scream to me of, we need a Game of Thrones.
Yes.
We need a new, and that is what's behind it ultimately.
But
I hope it's good.
Lord of the Rings is kind of the original inspiration of Game of Thrones, isn't it?
100%.
So where better to kind of, if you want a Game of Thrones rip-off, then Lord of the Rings is a pretty good place to start, isn't it?
How ironic. It's like when people are like, oh, it's like Stranger Things. Where do you think they got it from? It's funny.
Yeah. Oh, the Stand. That's like Stranger Things. Yeah. Well, where do you think Stranger Things got it from? They got it from the Stand.
Yeah. 100%. It's just funny.
Apparently next year we're also getting they're redoing Under the Dome.
Oh, what?
Redoing it? They only just did that, didn't they?
Yeah, but Stephen King hated it because it was nothing like the book. So Stephen King's now we'll do it my way.
Do it again. Just do it again.
I wonder if they'll do a book-accurate miniseries of The Shining. I wonder if that'll happen.
Nah.
You see, I thought Doctor Sleep would have been a brilliant miniseries. I thought it would have been brilliant, and combine that with the Shining. Do the whole, just go the whole hog. Just make the Netflix show, make the Prime show. The Shining, Doctor Sleep. Amazing.
But Dan, what's your most anticipated of 2021?
Yeah. Let's get back on topic.
I'd say Lord of the Rings is definitely one if we're going for TV. But I'd say there's a few films out. There are quite a few films out because so many films got delayed from 2020 and they've rolled over to next year. So a lot of my most anticipated from this year are now my most anticipated from next year. I'd say my most anticipated... It's got to be The Matrix 4, right?
Oh, I didn't think you'd say that. Okay.
Yeah. No, I think it is because I don't know how that's going to go. I don't know if it's going to be not very good like the two sequels that we had to The Matrix, which were pretty average and sometimes really bad.
I don't think James has seen them. We must be careful.
Yeah.
Right, I'll try not to spoil.
We must be careful.
It's all right.
I mean, but my own, just to jump on top of that, my own personal opinion on the Matrix sequels is the second one is okay, apart from the fact that it ties to the third one so closely.
The second one has moments. We all know. If I say the freeway, we all know what I'm talking about. So
yeah, the second one's got some really solid scenes in it, and it's very intriguing. Where it might go with the plot at that point in the narrative is quite intriguing, and then the third film happened, and the rest is history.
Yeah,
but the fourth film, it could be a really good opportunity to go back to that world. I think it's a really interesting world, a very interesting characters. Keanu Reeves back. I'm just really sort of curious to see what they'll do with it, and it could go either way, I think.
Especially in an age of the internet and computers, I wonder if. Because
how do they modernise it?
Yeah, The Matrix is just a bit before all that. I don't know if that'll be a factor. And apparently, it's only one Wachowski is doing it. One of the Wachowski siblings. I don't know if that's a big factor.
I think it's Lana Wachowski that's doing it, and Lily isn't.
Yeah, I think.
But don't hold me to that. It might be Lily that's doing it, and not Lana.
So that's interesting. I find it very curious, not to spoil anything, that Lawrence Fishburne apparently isn't in it.
Yeah, he said he wasn't asked.
So that's also very curious why 2 of the 3 leads are returning and 1 isn't. Not to spoil things for the film.
I would say, personally, I think it's because Keanu Reeves is going to take over the Lawrence Fishburne role.
And it'll be a new...
usher in a new...
Yeah.
The One.
Yeah, I agree, but it's still strange.
So we're just going to have a rehash of the first film where it's just a guy who's plugged into the Matrix.
This is all speculation, though. We don't know, do we?
Of course.
No. But if I had to hazard a guess, I would say that The Matrix 4 is going to be to The Matrix what The Force Awakens was to A New Hope.
Oh, no.
What do you think they're going to try and spawn off? Hey, The Force Awakens was the good one.
Well,
if it is, then that might be... Yeah, it might actually be a good thing.
But do you mean like it will just retread the same steps, or do you think they're trying to launch a new
I would
trilogy?
say that they might try... I think they're trying to launch a new trilogy.
I think so.
But I would say that it is... I'd say that they're doing kind of like a Force Awakens where they're like... we're gonna kind of do the same story again because it's sort of a poetic repetition of good and evil and blah blah blah.
It's a shame James hasn't watched them because I have a very curious about Keanu Reeves' hair in the film.
Yes.
I don't.
Is that your main concern? Is it, Ben?
No, because I can't. How do I put it without spoilers?
I was just about to say I can take my headphones off, but I'll hear it in the edit anyway.
Well, no, because I've seen him filming for it, and he has long hair, the John Wick look.
Yes.
Yeah.
And now he's gone full Keanu Speed look, skinhead.
Shaved it all off.
Buzz cut, no beard, and I know why, Danny.
James has seen the
I've seen the first one, so I know that would imply that he's outside of the Matrix.
Yes.
Yeah.
It does imply that. Curious if that's the case.
Oh, but I think that's kind of to be expected to an extent, though, right? Because we have to keep going back to the Matrix and back to the real world. There's a theory as well that the real world is just another level of the Matrix. Maybe that's a direction they'll go in.
I hope.
Yeah.
I've heard that.
I'm excited to see where they go with it. Especially with them. What was the last thing the Wachowskis did? Would it have been
Jupiter Ascending?
I don't know, because did season two and the animation of Sense8
Yeah, I was going to say it's Sense8, isn't it?
Sense8 would have been the last thing, and that was a very twisty-turny, weird show. So I'm interested to see how their new writing style influences the next saga of The Matrix. Well, how one of them's new writing style, because they're not both doing it. Who wants to go next? James, Ben, James?
Do you want to go, James?
I'll jump in. Go on.
Yeah, go on, James.
Speaking of how Dan said, a lot of the big films that have come out this year are ones that have been delayed from 2020. My first one definitely falls under that bracket. Because we were supposed to get this film back in March of this year, of 2020. I'm still waiting to watch Black Widow. Just give it to me, man. I've been waiting so long for this film. I've not had my MCU fix since Far From Home, and that was July last year. This is too long.
July 2019. Would have been the last MCU
That's
fix.
too long without a Marvel Cinematic film. We didn't even get any TV. We were supposed to have WandaVision by now.
Long enough.
And it looks like it's going to be good. I really like, Scarlett Johansson's a great Black Widow. I love Florence Pugh. I like David Harbour. I think Taskmaster's got so much potential for a villain. I'm just really excited for this film. And Winter Soldier was so good. I'm hoping they lean into that, do another sort of spy thriller inside the MCU. The only thing that's worrying me is whenever I talk about it, I'm always it has so much potential. Will it live up? And that's why I'm so excited for it, because we should have had it. We should know if it lives up by now.
Yeah.
Just let me watch this film already, okay?
My initial worry was that, that was going to come out in March and then we were going to have nothing until the Eternals in November. Now it's coming out May next year. May the 7th, I think it is. And then we get Shang-Chi in July. So if it's not good, at least we've only got a little bit of time.
We got
until
4
the next
MCU
one.
films this year. It's great.
Yeah.
I've got the shows.
No, I understand what you mean. I'm really excited to see Black Widow, but at the same time it's but I have a feeling that they're going to kill Taskmaster, which would be a total waste. And they're going to bin off David Harbour, which would be a total waste.
Yeah, that's my biggest worry.
And then they're going to do the
written themselves into an odd hole where, because this is set in the past, because it's set between Civil War and Infinity War, they can only do so much. So they're going to have to maybe come up with some reasons why David Harbour and Taskmaster aren't kicking about. So
Yep. And there's just innately no stakes. I know there's no stakes in Marvel movies anyway because none of them die. But knowing Black Widow does die, there's still no threat of peril.
But if they want, they can bring her back or allude to something.
I hope they don't. I really hope that's not where we're going.
Florence Pugh is taking over as Black Widow in one way or another. She's either going to become the new Black Widow, or worst case scenario, they're going to have a body swap where Scarlett Johansson ends up in Florence Pugh's body.
There's potential for
Scarlett Johansson's.
That's insulting.
I hope they don't do it.
I really hope they don't do it.
Terrible.
Do you reckon this is going straight to Disney Plus then, or are we going to see a cinema release?
No, I think they're aiming for a cinema. We'll see if cinemas are open. It is, I think, where we're at.
Quickly around the table, can I ask, who do you think Taskmaster is? I think it's Rachel Weisz.
I think it's someone new. I think it's different. Someone different.
I was going to say, I don't think it's anyone that we've seen so far.
Okay.
I don't even know who Taskmaster is. Who is that?
Say Florence Pugh, Danny. Just say Florence Pugh.
Florence Pugh.
Just for you, Danny. Taskmaster is a villain in the MCU whose power is that he's got a sort of a photographic, a hyper.
I think they're called photographic reflexes or photographic muscles or something like that.
Yeah, he's got photographic reflexes. He can watch someone execute a fight move and immediately know how to execute it. So basically, he can watch how Black Widow fights and then know how to beat her because he remembers exactly every single one of her moves.
All right, okay.
That's his gimmick.
Why don't you just watch like how the Hulk fights and then defeat everyone?
Because he wouldn't have the physicality of it. He would just have the technique.
Yeah.
Oh, he still needs to. He doesn't like morph or anything.
So it's like he can watch any technique and immediately know it.
Right, I see.
He's an interesting character that I think they're gonna kill off immediately.
Yeah, there's potential for that.
That'd be daft.
But yeah, one of the other films which I'm really quite excited for, and I think this one's actually going to surprise Ben. I really don't think anyone has even thought of this film.
Always before the show I go, I think Kristian will do that, I think Danny will do this. I knew James picked Black Widow.
Yeah.
I can't call the second one. I have a guess.
My other one is because I love it's a prequel. I loved the first film, really enjoyed the second film. I can't wait to see The King's Man. Just because I'm really excited and interested to see what they're doing with it. Because when I first heard they were doing a prequel and going back in time, I was like, but you're losing the gadget side of it, or is it going to be as good? The more trailers we see, the more I'm like, oh, but the action's still there. It's still got the style. Yeah, I'm fully in for this film. Let's see what they do with it. So that's more under the umbrella of, because we don't know much about it and I'm curious how they'll do it. That's why I'm so excited to see it, because I just want to know.
Yeah, I will say I am quite curious. Only for me personally, because I'm interested in history of like wars and stuff, and the First World War in like pop culture isn't really used a lot. The Second World War is like the big dog. It's like that in Vietnam and Afghanistan, and so setting it in the First World War is actually really intriguing to me. I'd be curious to see how they handle that.
I don't think it's going to be very accurate, if I'm honest, Ben.
Yeah, no. Like I've seen Rasputin fight people with swords and karate or something.
Because I think that's some of the best bits about the first two Kingsman films is like the action sequences, like the choreography. It's just great. Like that whole sequence in the second one where they storm the compound at the end.
Yeah, I'm very interested in this new one because, of course, the first Kingsman film is based on a graphic novel, but they only did one graphic novel. It was a standalone, so the second one was its own story. I know a few people who didn't like the second one as much, and I was like, but the second one was really good for a story that they made up. Like, the first one was translated from a graphic novel. The second one, they just sort of ran with it and made up a new story.
Yeah, I think that's maybe why they've gone towards a prequel, because there were a few people that weren't massively happy with the second one, so I think they've gone, right, let's take we like this universe, we like this lore, we like this style, but let's take a step back from Eggsy and Harry, and like let's do a bit more different so it's not as closely compared to this, so we can I think they've hopefully going to find their feet a bit more, which would be nice.
I think it's the same creative team. I think it's Matthew Vaughn.
I would have thought so, yeah.
I think so, because usually for like the spin-offs it's different people and they get someone else in, but I think it is actually the same director.
The trailer looks very similar style, so you'd hope so, yeah.
Go on, Ben.
What are you looking forward to?
We've got to talk about Dune. We've got to talk about it. We've got to talk about Denis. He's an absolute boy. I'm very curious to see how Denis Villeneuve is going to handle Dune. I don't really have much to say on it. I'm just very excited for it. I think Denis like might be the best working director today. I think he never seems, what I've seen, he just hasn't failed in making a film, and he's made two people's opinion, two very good sci-fi films in Arrival and Blade Runner 2049, and this is kind of like his third. And can he adapt the book well? And I'm more curious to see will it actually be a success. He's very well known for not making any money on his movies, and it's got like a huge cast. I'm very curious. Dune's like a big inspiration for Star Wars. I think it was that and like samurai films and Dune.
Yeah.
Like so in Episode 4, James, when C-3PO is going through Tatooine, there's a skeleton of the sand snake. That's inspired by Dune in the world from Dune, from Arrakis of the planet. So I'm very curious to see how. I hope it's good. I really hope it's good. I'm very curious to see how he handles it. However, it just looks like the David Lynch film. I know it's adapted from the book, but I was a bit shocked how it just seems to be the same. But maybe
it's going to retread the same steps.
Yeah.
Do you think that unlike the Lynch film though, they're going to split it into 2 films?
Yeah.
To do the whole book rather than sort of rush through it in one.
I think they're gonna, but I don't know if they've already shot the second film yet. Because if they haven't, it may not come out because they don't. These films don't make money.
Did Blade Runner not make money?
Not enough, I don't think. I don't think so. But they front-loaded Dune with one of the most stacked casts of the last decade. So
it's
I think
that's
I think the big. My movies don't make money. I need people. I need all the people to bring them in.
Quick, who's an up and comer? Timothy Chalamet, yeah, get him in it. Zendaya, yeah, get them in it.
Yeah.
You want to put Dave Bautista in it? Yeah, why not?
Yeah. Jason Momoa.
Get him in. Yeah, why?
Throw them all in.
Yeah, get everyone in.
See, the weird thing is, for me, it's had the complete opposite effect. Because I was watching the trailer, and the whole time I was like, the concept looks cool. It's really interesting. I just hate Timothy Chalamet.
I do. I
can't stand him. I can't stand his face. He just constantly looks so smug and just a bit of a prick, and I'm not here for it.
Because I thought like, will this be his proper big, like DiCaprio had Titanic that launched him? Will this be it? Because I kind of see him as the next Leo, the pretty boy, at the moment. He's like in Leo's career, to be honest.
Yeah, just without the talent.
Well,
I don't think I've seen him in anything actually. I don't know.
I saw him in Lady Bird. He's a
Lady
prick in
Bird,
that.
What was the last one he did?
he's in Little Women, Kristian.
He is, yeah.
Yeah. So my other pick is, I don't really know anything about it. It's Edgar Wright's next film.
Oh yeah.
Last Night in Soho.
Yes.
I thought it was just about a girl in Soho for a night, and it kind of is, but it's got a bit more of a genre twist on it. It's apparently a psychological thriller horror, and it's a girl in the modern day, and she ends up in 1960s Soho. I was like, oh. I didn't know that. Cool. It's got a bit of Anya Taylor-Joy's in it, and we love Anya Taylor-Joy. She's great. She's the next big thing. Yeah, she's great. So there you go.
I feel like you know that you're going to get some good style when you sign up for an Edgar Wright film.
Yeah, I think good style. I hope it's written well. That was my main critique of Baby Driver. I felt Simon Pegg's as the writing partner was lost.
Because that's what I was thinking when I said like, you know you're going to get good style, because I've had some people criticise Baby Driver when I say how much I love it, say, oh, but you know the story's crap, and I was like, the story's not the most inventive, but I just love the style and it carries it through the film for me, so I don't really mind.
The best part of Baby Driver by far for me was the editing.
Oh
like
god,
the way everything flowed together. You know, like the gunfight scene that's in time with the drums and the music, and that first driving sequence, and how the lyrics sort of like show up in the background. It's all so well put together.
Very well crafted film.
Yeah, when someone was like, "Oh, Edgar Wright's doing a new film," I was like, "Oh yes, cool. I love Edgar Wright," and they were like, "It's a psychological thriller type film." And I was like, "Huh, that's it's not what I expected," but I'm interested to see how it goes.
I really like it. It's why I think I'm a fan of Quentin, that these guys just tick off genres like Edgar, and they're just going through them all and ticking off various genres.
Sometimes it's a hit, sometimes it's a miss, but it's always
At
interesting to see their take on the genre. Yeah, good picks there. I guess I'll go. Because we're limited to 2 now, there was 3 I was going to talk about. I'll quickly say, just because it's my background and I feel I've got to mention it, very excited for this Mortal Kombat film. I know it's going to be like trashy and stupid like the old Mortal Kombat films. It's not got a particularly famous cast tied to it.
Sometimes that's good though.
The director, I looked up the director, and it's the first thing he's ever directed. Is this?
Wow.
He has no short films. He has no music videos. Nothing.
What?
This is it.
That's weird.
But
Someone say
it
nepotism.
But it has James Wan producing, and I have faith that he has picked these people because he trusts them. But then again, maybe he's picked
it's a bit of a name, to be honest.
Yeah, and maybe he's just put his money into it because he was like, oh yeah, Mortal Kombat, I like that.
Yeah. That's
Um,
probably about it.
but yeah, anyway, either way, I'm interested to either see a decent video game film based on the Mortal Kombat universe, or a horribly trashy, horrendous film based on the Mortal Kombat universe.
Let's just hope
Either
it's not
way-
a middle ground.
Yeah, the middle ground would be the worst. If it's
Yeah.
just okay, that will be heartbreaking for me.
Yeah.
But yeah, just to move on quickly from that, the other two that I'm most excited for, one is The Green Knight.
Oh yeah, you've been banging the drum with this one.
I have been banging the drum. It was one that was meant to come out in 2020, and it didn't, and it still doesn't have a release date set for 2021. They're just like, oh, it's coming out in 2021. But it just looks so interesting. It's about Sir Gawain and his
Gawain.
and his sort of it's based on the old sort of folk tale of his triumph over the Green Knight, but it's
It's A24, isn't it?
Yeah, it's A24, who I
Right, okay.
adore. I am a big A24 sort of nerd. I love I love their style and the quirk they bring to it. It's David Lowery directing, so I have full faith that he's going to do a good job. Dev Patel looks like he's going to kill it as Sir Gawain, and I don't know. The style of it's like, and it's another sort of like in the same vein as The Witch. It looks like a folk horror film. So they've taken sort of an old bit of folklore and given it that sort of weird slow burn A24 horror twist. So yeah, I'm very excited to see how that turns out.
Yeah, it looks interesting.
Because I don't know, I've missed that sort of slow burn horror this year. There's been a distinct lack.
2020's been one long slow burn horror.
Yeah.
Yeah. Very true.
Yeah.
The other one, oh god, what am I gonna pick?
I wonder if he's gonna. I had a guess for Kristian's.
There's two that I could pick, but you know what? I'll join James and throw out another superhero one.
Oh, okay.
Because I'm super excited for the Suicide Squad.
Oh. Okay.
Fair enough.
I have made it vocal to people in the past that I am not a big fan of the direction that DC has taken overall. I don't like Man of Steel. I don't like Batman vs Superman. I didn't finish Justice League. A lot of these a lot of the films and TV shows were just a miss for me. I started to sort of get back involved. I enjoyed Aquaman. I enjoyed Shazam.
Shazam's really good.
Both of those were like great. Birds of Prey was okay. But
Take it or leave it.
Yeah, but I'm sort of fully invested in the Suicide Squad film that James Gunn is doing. It looks super, it looks like they've let him run with his style and his influence, because he's making sort of a half bizarre comedy, half gritty. It's sort of like almost a Vietnam film.
Oh yeah.
I'm pretty sure is how he's described it personally himself. And it's, I think it's just going to breathe new life into what was one of the most disappointing films I've ever seen in Suicide Squad. Especially considering they're bringing back they're bringing back the characters that mattered from Suicide Squad in Harley Quinn and Captain Boomerang, but also throwing in just the most bizarre set of D-list villains.
It's brilliant.
And I'm so excited to see the likes of like Polka Dot Man
Phenomenal.
brought to life.
Weasel.
Yeah, and just that. I was excited about the promises he brought as well, because he was like, oh, and remember, don't get too attached to these characters because half of them are going to be dead by the end of the film. And I was like, I don't even. It's just mental that they've let him run with this, and they've been like, he's been like, yeah, can I get together like 25 random people in this film? And then they're like, oh, yeah, well, that's a lot of people to bring into the universe. And he's like, don't worry, 15 of them are going to die at least.
I'm so excited for Suicide Squad. Like, I can't wait to see it. I love James Gunn. I love the way he crafts the film. The Suicide Squad is such a great concept. It sounds like he's got great characters. The fact that he was given full creative control, like he could have who he wants and kill who he wants, like no one was off the cards. It just sounds like it's going to be a James Gunn, like, bonanza, just full Gun 100%, and I'm so excited for it. Everything we see, like, we haven't even got a proper trailer for it yet, and I'm already this hyped. All we've seen is like concept and behind the scenes stuff, and it's already looking so good. And my God, if it disappoints me, I'm going to cry because I'm so invested already.
I wonder that's the only way it's going to go.
Please, not another one.
I was going to say, all of my cards now are placed on top of the Suicide Squad and the Batman. If either or both of those...
Danny's muted.
Yeah, Danny, you're muted.
I don't even remember doing that.
if
I'm sure it fucking does it on its own. That's bizarre.
If either or both of those disappoint, that's it for DC. Like, it's over.
We're not getting Batman next year, are we? That's been delayed to
2022, unfortunately.
Yeah. The Batman I'm curious about. I'm always curious about Batman. They'll never... Oh, they're such arseholes. They'll always have my money. It's like, Batman. Oh, I'm gonna have
Go
to
on
see
now.
that.
This one's the Batman, is it? Oh,
yeah,
okay.
they'll always get my money for Batman. It's so annoying.
I was going to say that it's like, right, I'm done with DC now. They've ruined everything. They've even ruined Batman, and then they're like,
whoa,
but Matt Reeves is coming in, and it's like, okay, and they're like, we're getting him to do an R-rated Batman. Okay. And we're going to get Robert Pattinson to play him, and it's like, damn it! Now I have to give you money because I'm actually intrigued to watch this.
God,
Colin
that trailer
Farrell's
was
the
so
Penguin.
good.
So Colin Farrell, Penguin, mint.
Paul Dano, Riddler.
Yeah, that's
Sick.
so
Good.
good. Paul Dano as the Riddler is bang on. So
Zoe
God
Kravitz, Catwoman, sick.
Yeah, it's annoying, but yes, it's they have my money. Yeah, Suicide Squad, it looks like they've actually hired the right man to... When you hear the title and the premise of the books, the tone of what we've seen looks like it's correct, and I feel like he's someone who understands the premise and hopefully will execute it. And you can clearly tell he seemingly knows what he's doing because he's put John Cena in it, and it seems to be going well. It looks, so...
Yeah,
I hope it's fun. I really hope it's good.
Yeah, the only downside to the entire thing was the Warner Brothers prematurely announcing that John Cena's character's getting a spin-off show, and I was like, but now we know he lives.
Yeah, but you can't kill John Cena. Can't see him.
True.
Are you sure about that?
You never know, it could be a prequel show. I hope it's not.
Oh, man, 2 John Cena memes back to back. That was perfect. With that said, we'll move on to our dessert, our nice little hypothetical, which is basically any of the films coming out in 2021. If you could have that film ready, done, finished to watch tomorrow, which film would you pick? Who would like to start us off?
I've got one that's been... I was going to say in the news. The news has been nothing but this film at the moment. And apparently... You know that actor from that film? Yeah, he's in this film. That other actor, every actor you've ever heard of, yeah, they're in this film, apparently. I need to see Spider-Man 3 now.
Oh.
Because apparently everyone's in it. There's
Is that 2021?
so much... Yeah, that's coming out next year.
Holy shit.
I thought it was 2022. 2022.
No, Spider-Man is 2021.
It's
Spider-Man
set
3.
after Doctor Strange, which is 2022.
Yeah, well,
Mate, I'm telling you now, it comes out next year.
At the Investor Day, Kevin Feige did say Spider-Man is out first, even though it's set after Doctor Strange. Yeah, James is not wrong. I didn't know it was 2021 though.
It's 2021 because like there was going to be shiftings around, but because it's a Sony production, it couldn't move dates, whereas all the other Marvel films have. And I need to see it. I need to see it now because there's so much going on. Everyone's getting so hyped about it. So it's not. I feel like I'm not seeing anything but Spider-Man 3 memes at the moment. So I can't forget about this film. And I'm also super worried about it because at the moment I'm just really concerned that they're going to try and do too much in one film. Like all this Spider-Verse stuff, all these cameos is going to overshadow the regular Spider-Man 3 storyline, and which is what I'd love to see. Like I want a really good Spider-Man film and do a separate Spider-Verse thing. So that's kind of my main reason, is to just get rid of all this anxiety that I have about this film, and I just need to know what's going on first.
That will be the story, though. The Spider-Verse thing is the story.
But there's so much regular Spider-Man stuff they can do that we haven't done yet.
Where does this film fit in? Because I'm super confused about Spider-Man at this point. Like, so they're bringing back a bunch of older actors from, like, they're bringing back Tobey Maguire, Alfred Molina, to reprise their roles. I think, are they bringing back anyone else?
Andrew Garfield's coming back.
Andrew Garfield,
Kirsten Dunst is coming back. Emma Stone's coming back. Right. Jamie Foxx is coming back. There's talks that Willem Dafoe might be coming back. Yeah,
it's confusing because there is just too many Spider-Men. Surely
this is like what I'm saying.
We've got the Spider-Verse for a start, and then we've got the Tom Holland Spider-Man, which is still going, which is in no way related to this new Spider-Man.
No.
Or is it?
This Spider-Man 3 it's Tom Holland's third Spider-Man film, and then they're going to introduce the multiverse and have all these other versions of Spider-Man and characters coming in. And I'm just worried it's going to get a bit full and a bit busy.
Yeah. So they're basically doing the Spider-Verse thing in live action, basically. Yeah.
Yes. And that worked.
It could be great.
And Infinity War
worked. I'm not saying it will be bad.
Endgame worked.
I'm just worried because I love Spider-Man so much, and I want him to get his own film. Like Infinity War was great because it was supposed to be a team-up film. Like a lot of people, like Civil War is not a Captain America film. It's not. It's a quasi Avengers film, and I don't want that to happen to Spider-Man. I want him to get his own film.
I don't like. I agree that it can be that it's a bit of a like cluster of just random sort of people coming back. I am excited to see that sort of thing because I'd love to see how those characters interact, and I hope that it's true that they're all just sort of cameos and bit parts. It's not like, it's like flashes of them interacting rather than the whole film like revolving around that.
Well, it's so interesting from like a licensing point of view, though. I think like that. Suddenly we live in this world now where like we can have Spider-Man in a Sony film that is related to the Marvel universe but still ties into previous Sony versions of Spider-Man, and everyone just gets it and it works, and there's no issues with licensing. It's all been worked out. It's just kind of wild that films are doing this now, especially superhero films, but it's just
especially
cool.
Since we grew up pre all of this. We've lived our childhoods where Batman's once every few years, and that's all you're going to get. Maybe an X-Men film, and you have Christopher Reeve 10 years ago. Yeah.
Well, my theory on this coming about is mainly, Sony for years have been trying to get like a Spider-Man universe off the ground, and they really, really, really want to do the Sinister Six. They're absolutely dead set on doing the Sinister Six as its own standalone film. But I think they pulled Spider-Man out of the MCU because they were like, well, we can't do the Sinister Six without Spider-Man. We need Spider-Man. But now they've worked out these new terms with Disney so that Spider-Man can carry on being in the MCU and doing his thing, but all of Spider-Man's films will further the Sony Pictures universe of Marvel characters, also known as Spunk.
Awful. Awful name.
Oh, dear.
How did no one say that out loud before they threw that out to the world?
I think it might have a different meaning in America.
So bad.
But yeah,
I hear what I understand what Danny was meaning. But I'm confused, and I hear.
Yeah, but if I'm confused, a lot of the people are confused.
I get that, and I get that James is skeptical. I'm usually the skeptic of all of us, but I just don't care.
Oh, I care so much.
I don't care.
I'm with Ben on this.
Tobey Maguire, chuck him in. Andrew Garfield, I don't really like his films. I'll see him. I don't care. Chuck them all in. I just don't care. I just shove them all in. Do it all. Who cares? Why take it so seriously? Just shove them all in. Have the whole film. Tobey Maguire and Andrew Garfield just hanging out with Spider-Man. It'd be insane.
Why take it so seriously? Since the man going
Tobey Maguire, Spider-Man. It's been so long since we've seen him. Just just enjoy it. It's so good.
Oh my god,
it's just so good.
He's gonna punch through a wall.
What's that? God. Tom Hardy wants to come in as Venom. Yeah, throw him in.
Yeah,
wait.
Just chuck him in.
Topher Grace wants to come back in as Venom. Yeah, we'll have two Venoms. No one cares.
It's the multiverse. Have J. Jonah Jameson as Spider-Man. Just throw him in as a scene. Actually, him swinging around as J.K. Simmons.
Oh, you've gone too far.
It would just be so good.
You have reached the point.
It's not going to happen. It might not happen again. Just throw it all in.
Life's too short, man. Life's too short. You've got to do these things. Take the opportunity.
They're not. Tobey Maguire, he's not going to get any younger. None of them are. I'm amazed. I'll be amazed if he's actually even in it. Just throw it. Just go for it.
What I was going to say is...
Sleep when you're dead.
He's 45.
What I was going to say is that the only thing that's... I'm with Ben on this. I'm just excited to see everyone interact in this whole... It's going to end up being like a 3-4 hour film of just mashups of characters.
I'd love it.
And I'm so here for it.
If Willem Dafoe and Alfred Molina share a scene...
The only problem I have with it is twice now Tom Holland has publicly said that he is worried about it.
I don't care. I want in the live action this Spider-Man 3. I want the animated Spider-Verse guys in it, like Who Framed Roger Rabbit. That's what I want. I want them all in it.
I would love a Spider-Verse film. I think it's going to be good, whatever it is. I'm just worried it's going to overshadow the Spider-Man 3 storyline.
I don't care.
I do. Go on, Ben. What's your pick then, so I can shit all over that?
June.
Great. Interesting. What film do you want to say? A film I've already spoken about. Brilliant.
Yeah, I'll
say.
Oh my God.
Happy New Year.
If I can't pick June, I thought Kristian would say it. I thought Kristian was going to say earlier.
I might say it.
He might say it. I am a bit curious by the new Space Jam film.
Okay.
I don't know if it'd be I think my real pick would be. I think Robert Eggers is doing a new film. He did The Witch and did The Lighthouse. He's re-teaming up with Anya Taylor-Joy because she's great.
It's a real pick.
I think that's my real pick. I think it's to do with Vikings, but that's boring because I've heard the premise for Space Jam 2. Not only is it to do with basketball. LeBron James is travelling through other Warner Brothers properties with the Looney Tunes.
Oh, stop doing that.
It's going to be great.
Chuck them all in. Tobey Maguire. Throw them all in. Just weird. I think I don't know. Whatever.
Oh my God.
I keep forgetting we're getting Space Jam 2, and every time I remember it, I'm like, it's going to be a laugh in it.
That's what this is now become, though. It's first it was sequels. It's let's do another film that's like the other film. And now it's, let's just go to the other universe. Yeah, let's go into that film. And so, remember this film? Let's literally go back into it.
Yeah. So, what's your pick, Dan?
Well, there's only one obvious choice for me here, really. And it'll come as no surprise. Released next year, sequel to The Boss Baby. Family Business. I'm really looking forward to it. I'm seeing how the Boss Baby develops. His character's just obviously really interesting.
Yeah, and, super exciting.
I was just joking, everyone. It's my little joke there about the Boss Baby. No, it's
Ben's
just
face when you said it.
I didn't see it. Just let him down. It's fine, Ben. I'll live.
I thought you were being serious.
No, it isn't the Boss Baby. Weirdly enough, I actually probably hate the boss baby, really, if you think about it. It's horrible. My actual pick is, I was going to go for Matrix 4, but let's not mix it up slightly. I'm really looking forward to the Uncharted film.
Right.
That is due out in 2021.
I thought you were going to say Paddington 3 or something. It was like that was real.
Come on. I think, no. Although, But, I'm a big fan of the Uncharted games.
Oh, good, yeah.
Great games.
Very good. It's going to be interesting. Much like the Matrix 4, it could go either way. It's interesting that they've cast Tom Holland. He's very much the man of the moment, isn't he? That'll get, people into the cinemas if they are open at that point. I'm sure they will be at that point. It's weird that they're going for a young version of him. Like it's interesting. I kind of see what they're doing, like a bit of an origin story. It's not quite Indiana Jones. It's a young guy. We'll see how it goes. I'm not too keen on Mark Wahlberg being cast as Sully.
Yeah,
that's a questionable casting.
Really, I don't really see that at all. But
it's like he demanded to be Nathan Drake, and they went, "You're too old, mate." He went, "Oh, I'll just be Sully then. Give me 50 million. You have no choice."
Yeah, I'm.
I like him. I like Mark Wahlberg.
I was disappointed with the casting. When I saw pictures of him on set, and I was like, "What's he doing? Why is he in the Sully costume but with no mustache? Where's the mustache?"
But have you seen though? He did an Instagram video.
Yeah, and then he did the Instagram video with the mustache. And I was like, okay.
As long as he has the mustache, I'll give it a pass.
Yeah. So do we think we're going to get so I'm assuming it was a case of everyone saw those set photos, were outraged, and they've changed it. Do we think we're going to see some reverse Cavill action where they have to CGI a mustache onto him?
No.
Good Lord.
I hope not.
I kind of hope we do. Surely it's easier to put a mustache on.
Oh my god, that's my pick. I'd watch the raw footage of Henry Cavill with the mustache.
I want that.
Yeah.
I love it.
Great.
I can't believe how much they messed up. There are YouTube channels, private YouTube channels, just like video effects schmoes, just who live out there somewhere, who have done a better job at replacing that moustache. It's incredible how much they messed up that moustache. Yeah. So strange. They probably spent millions on it or something. It's just.
They should have kept it, or just given him a beard. It's god, so logical.
But yeah, I wonder whether for Uncharted, they've gone for a younger Nathan Drake and more of an origin story, just to distance themselves from the games a bit, to like answer that question of, if you've got a great story for Uncharted, why not do it as a game? Well, because it's a younger one. We want to distance ourselves a little bit. I think.
I'm going to say like Spider-Man, it's an investment. He'll grow into it for plenty of films.
Maybe there's that as well. Maybe that's what they're looking at.
I was going to say, I think there's the growing into it. I also think there's the fact, not just distancing themselves from the games, because, we've seen young Nathan Drake in the games, but we haven't seen the in-between young Nathan Drake. Because, we've seen, like, Nathan Drake in his 30s and 40s, and we've seen Nathan Drake when he was, like, 13 to 15. But we haven't seen like 20-odd-year-old Nathan Drake, which is apparently what this is meant to be.
Okay.
I think they're also trying to distance themselves from the clear source material of the Uncharted games, which is Indiana Jones. Well, they've got to try and make... They're trying to make an Indiana Jones film without making an Indiana Jones film.
Yeah.
I also wonder whether part of it is they went, look, we want to make an Uncharted film. Who can we get? Someone went, we could get Tom Holland. He's big right now. And they then decided to do young Nate around that because he's at that point now.
Type.
Yeah.
Just get Tom Holland.
You know what? I'm going to go on record here and say I'm worried about this film. I just don't see
potentially
where they're going with it. And the whole thing with Nathan Drake is an older, quite self-assured sort of guy, and that's what makes it fun, and that's what makes the dialogue fun and his character fun, right? And sometimes you go back and play as the young Nathan Drake and see him, vulnerable and all that. And it adds colour to his character for the rest of the game. But do we really want to see that slightly more vulnerable, slightly less confident version of the character for an entire film? I don't know about that.
They've had, like, things that make me feel good about this film is that they've had Nolan North on set with Tom Holland, coaching him through how to be Nathan Drake, coaching him through the mannerisms that Nolan North himself has put onto the character of Nathan Drake. So I reckon that that's going to be a good thing. The downside is apparently none of the writers of the Uncharted games have been consulted. So it doesn't matter if he gets the mannerisms down. If it isn't written like an Uncharted story, then it's not going to feel like Uncharted.
It's not going to be good. It's not going to be good.
So
it's going to be half-arsed, I think, and just...
Yeah, it's Uncharted territory.
Yeah.
I don't know if it's worth that, Jay. I don't know if it's that
I
good.
enjoyed that. I think it was my kind of joke.
Tiny
Yeah.
clip.
I just like that you're
Tiny
making
clap.
these jokes now. It's great.
I know, I hate myself. Yeah, hate myself.
Oh dear.
And on that note,
I think it's Christian's pick. Has he got picked?
Yeah. For my dessert pick, I'm gonna pick something that could be both expected and unexpected. And speaking about Henry Cavill's mustache, I'm gonna pick the Snyder Cut.
yes.
What?
Yes. Give it to me now.
What
Yeah.
are you nerds talking about this
You
time?
hate Zack. I'm so...
Yeah, but I reckon because he just wants it done and over with.
Exactly. This is why I'm picking the Snyder Cut. I would like the Snyder Cut to come out tomorrow so that we can all watch it, realise that it does not improve on the film whatsoever, and then we can just forget about it and move on with our lives.
Mate, dicks.
How much longer is this Snyder
It's
Cut
going
than
to
the
be
original?
Days
5
longer.
hours. 5-6 hours.
No,
I'm not even joking.
5 or 6 hours?
It's going to come out in, I think, 5 or 6 1-hour bit parts. It's going to be more
Yeah.
episodic.
Jesus
It's a
Christ.
show. It's a show.
Yeah.
It's basically
But
a show.
It's a limited
Yeah,
series
it-
show.
Yeah, basically he'll be making it as a 6-hour film, but they're splitting it because, of course, 6 hours is a long time to sit and watch a film.
Was buddy, what was his name?
Joss Whedon.
No.
Tobey Maguire.
Yeah.
Yeah, throw him
Jared
in it now.
Leto.
Oh, yes.
He wasn't in this. Was he Joker in this film?
Yeah.
Yeah.
They brought him back for more filming, which is cheating in my opinion. You can't call it a Snyder Cut and then film new stuff for it.
Yeah, no, it's not. It's a whole new thing, I think, really. It's a whole new beast.
I'm excited for that, just because it's got to be better than the original one. It just has to be. It's good. It'll be more coherent, at least.
I feel like it'll be better. I don't think it'll be good.
I think I'll enjoy it.
70 million. This costs additional dollars.
Yep.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
All
Visual
the CG
effects,
and stuff.
score editing, and additional shooting. 70 million. That's
Worth every
something-
penny.
That's interesting. That I can't think of another film that's ever done that. It's actually just gone. Yeah, let's do it again as a TV show.
the only because loads of people are saying bring out the Snyder Cut, and I was like, it's never going to happen. No one's going to do it because like no one really cares that much. And then they the Snyder they announced the Snyder Cut, and I was like, okay, that people evidently care more than I thought they did. I'll be interested to see how the Snyder Cut turns out, but now it opens the door for people to ask for other cuts of other films, and that's where, because now David Ayer is campaigning.
He's
with
not
people
really. I think it's all a big joke.
for the Ayer cut of Suicide Squad.
I think that's just
which,
a bit of a joke. I don't think he's actually
but-
trying.
Despite the director's wishes, I know that there's people campaigning for the director's cut of the 2016 Fantastic Four.
It can't be worse. It physically is
Jesus.
impossible to be worse.
I don't know if it
yeah.
exists.
Just let it go. Just accept it was a bad movie.
Yeah, I was going to say, basically, he came out in an interview and said, for the 2016 Fantastic Four, and was like, yeah, I know it's a bad film. The producers and everyone got way too involved. My cut was going to be so much better. And then people came out and were like, oh, now that the Snyder Cut's getting made, let's get this cut made. And the director was like, no, let's not. Let's get the trunk cut. Let's just forget that 2016's Fantastic Four existed.
I don't think we're going to see, and maybe we will, but I don't think we're going to see a huge flux of all these directors' cuts being remade, because I think this is we've never seen a campaign like this, like we got for Snyder Cut, and B, it happened in a year when films weren't coming out. That's when it got greenlit. So I think it's Warner Brothers going, look, we're not making any other films. Let's use footage we've already got to try and make a new film.
I think that's the big reason, is that there actually is another film on a shelf.
I do think it'll be. It has the high likelihood of being a one-off, but my worry is that if it does do well, then they might try and do it with other films.
Try is probably the operative word there. Yeah, I can see them giving it a crack with others.
I can't wait until it's like the Johnson cut of Last Jedi, where he's like, "Oh, the Last Jedi wasn't actually what I meant it to be."
I was literally about to say, like, I don't know if I want a full film, but at least I would at least like an honest, like, what would the guys before Ron Howard, what would they have done a solo? What would it been?
Yeah.
Would have actually, just on paper. I'm not bothered about a film.
We'll get the Edgar Wright cut of Ant-Man.
Yeah.
But no,
It'll be the golden age of cinema.
I want the Lucas cut of Phantom Menace, the one that's got the hour-and-a-half pod racing scene halfway through.
No, it's not. That doesn't exist. They can't have done that.
An hour and a half. Apparently, his original script and his original intention for the cut was the Phantom Menace was going to be nearly 5 hours.
The dude's a madman.
Off he's not.
He may have gone a few far.
May have gone a bit far with this one.
You tried.
Try again. No?
He may have gone too far in a few places.
Yeah.
I hate myself.
I'll cut that.
Look at his little face. Look at that. Look at that disappointment in himself right there. That's what it is.
2021 is the year the Nick Cage film comes out, where he plays himself, playing his other roles.
The unbearable weight of massive talent.
Can't wait. That might be quite funny. Try and crawl it back.
So
let's hope they come out.
That would be nice, wouldn't it?
They'll come out. They'll come out by hook or by crook, because we've got streaming services now.
Yeah. That's a nice place for us to close off. Hopefully, these films do actually come out, and 2021 is a better year for film than 2020 was. But thank you everyone for joining us. Don't forget to like and subscribe and hit that bell icon to follow us for more content into this new beautiful, hopefully 2021
year ahead.
I know we weren't around long in 2020, but thank you to everyone who did support the start of this channel. Hopefully we've got a new year, we're going to hit the ground running, and I think we've got some exciting stuff coming. We're going to have a lot of content. And we'll see you throughout the year, hopefully.
Hopefully we'll be able to do things in person.
That would be nice.
Over this way. But
that would be great. So, write in the comments what films you're most excited for 2021. If if there's any we missed. Comment what film you would like to see instantly. Comment your opinions on the Snyder Cut. And maybe other cuts
Which
that
cut
you'd
do
like
you want
to see.
Who do you want to see in the new Spider-Man film? Let us know.
Everyone, they're already
Join the conversation, everyone. Join the conversation.
Get involved.
And another happy new year from us, and we'll see you next time.
God, yeah.
Bye.
See you later. Bye bye, everyone. See ya. Thanks for listening.